Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hi, everybody. I got my headphones on because I couldn't hear her without them, and I've not been having to wear them lately. So if I'm fidgeting with them through this whole live, you'll know why, because I'm just not comfortable in them. I'm not used to them. Hello. It is so good to see everybody back. I am glad that we're here. And oh my God, I have been looking forward to this particular live for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. It has just been something I've been looking forward to. So I am excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the chat, and then we are going to get started. So, Jan, it is good to see you. I still do not know why your wrench is not showing up. I went and looked just 10 minutes ago, and it says that you are actually a managing mod. So I, I don't know why it's not showing up, but I'm going to try to fix it after the live. But y'all, listen. Don't be causing her no trouble because she is a mod. She might not be able to do anything to you now, but we'll hold a grudge. So if you come in here acting like a pee-pee stick to Jan, she's going to hold a grudge and we will get you later. Just kidding. I know nobody does that, but hey, she is a character. She's from New Jersey, y'all. So you know what that means. Kind of like being from the South. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. Yes, Indigo Twin is here in the back room. Cannot wait to get that all started. So, Darcy's good to see you too. You're always so friendly. So Marily's here. Good to see her too. Yeah, I love this topic too, Carrie. I want to do more. I just am kind of feeling my way into it and decided to just go with one person so I can really hear her story completely before I try to like dive into having 2 or 3 or 4 people on at once that are explaining their stories. Cause you know how I am. I get so focused on one thing that, yeah. Incarnasoul, good to see you. Always good to see you. Okay. Down. Here we go. That's right. Okay, that's me talking on there. I saw myself. I'm like, hmm. Then I thought, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I think it's some weird YouTube garbage. I really do because I absolutely know I didn't remove you, and nobody else has well, other than John has the authority to. Excuse me, I've got the burps or something. But yeah, we know John didn't do it either. So hey, just a quiet, peaceful dance. So good to see you. Hey, Patty. Good to see you too. I'm excited. Hey, Janet. Janet from another planet is here. Good to see you. Yeah, I was on Scooter live while ago, and you and the grandma Janet from another planet was on there. So I was like, okay, so yeah, it is two separate people. So anyway, good to see you. Here we go. Ah, just a quiet, peaceful dance says that she has missed all of us. Well, we have missed you too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mhm. There's John says she's barely managing to be a mod, more like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, John. Ha ha. Yeah. Let's see here. Whoops, wrong button. Okay. Trying to see if I'm missing anybody else. Don't want to miss anybody. John is in the car. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I do want to see if you can help me out. I can't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday. I'll message you later. So, but if you can't, it's fine. I know you're busy right now. I think you had the name first too, but it's okay. Or I remember yours first. So, yeah, absolutely, Janet. Absolutely. But we're good. Hey, Poet, good to see you too. Hope every Poet was in Scooter's chat too. I watch her show some, but I need to watch it more. I've really been bad about not getting to all the channels that I want because I've just been so busy. But yeah, Brian was in there too, and it was a really good group. I saw a few people that I hadn't seen in a while, and I was like, "Well, well, well, where have you been? Because you've not been over here visiting me." Well, hopefully we'll drag them back over here. So anyway, y'all, I am so interested and excited about tonight's or today's, whichever for wherever you're at, but about today's topic. Um, I've never experienced a near death experience myself, but I absolutely do believe that they happen, and I believe the truth in other people's stories. And until recently, whenever I really started looking into this, I didn't understand how many different kinds of near death experiences there are, and we were just talking about that backstage a little bit. So after I bring Indigo out, we're going to talk a little bit about the different kinds there are. There's 10 different major kinds. I'm just going to go over those very quickly because I mean, why are we here? We want to hear Indigo's story. So yeah, she's our guest tonight. She is a oh, Jersey Jan's popping in the back. She is a friend of our channel, and they are here to tell their story. So, without further ado, I do welcome Indigo Twins, and I'm just excited. I'm kind of like stuttering over my words because I'm just really excited to get this show going. I mean, that's the truth. I kind of am. I'm just like,
She is so excited.
oh, I was excited in the back when we were talking. So,
Yep.
yeah, and frustrated because I couldn't get my speakers to work. So, yeah, we got that figured out though. I do want to go over real quick before you introduce yourself fully and go into your story. I'm going to go quickly through the different types of near death experiences that there are and they're not the only ones, but these are the ones that are the most reported. And I wrote on here that I was surprised to learn that there are 10 types that are the major studied ones. And they are studied by doctors like Dr. Raymond Moody, Bruce Grayson, Dr. Kenneth Ring, and the International Association for Near Death Studies. And these that I'm going to list, they're not in any particular order. So this isn't like the most or least, you know, normal or whatever, you know. So I'm just gonna go out of them or out through them real fast here. Ugh, anyway, so number 1 is it's called out of body experiences where you're separated from your body. You can see the medical staff, the equipment, even your family, or like if you're on like a car accident or something, you can see what's going on around you, all that kind of thing. Even with your eyes closed, you still can report back these things, and they report back in
Oh, yeah.
amazing details. So, the second one, and we were talking a little bit about this one backstage, was, darkness or void, and instead of light and peace, it's just a dark void, and some say it's calm and silent, and others say that it's terrifying or lonely, so that alone just shows that there's a lot in that one kind that can differ. Um, a very small group call it hell-like and say that there is distressing imagery. So, that's that one. Number 3 is the classic. This one is the one that is seen and heard of the most, which is tunnel and light experience. So, it's the, experience of moving through a tunnel towards a bright light, and the light is often seen as warm, loving, even intelligent as far as, like intelligent life, like that it's alive. It's not just a light. It's something that is alive. And some interpret it as God or angels or their deceased loved ones. Number 4 is when people talk about that their life literally flashes in front of them. Like they see a series of scenes from their life, and it says that people often feel very emotional after that, and it can be positive or it can be negative. So there is that. Now, number 5 is where you encounter beings, seeing deceased relatives, religious figures, spiritual beings, or sometimes just hearing them, like you can hear them talk to you, but you don't actually see them. Um, it's often messages of love, reassurance that it's not your time. Okay. Number 6 is the point of no return. It's often said to be like a door or a fence or a river, a mist, something that that if you cross that, there's no return. You know that your death is going to be permanent. And so they also say that they have a sense of knowing that they need to go back, that it's not their time. So, number 7 can be heavenly or blissful landscapes. It's hyper real. They say that the colors and everything that you see are not of this earth, that it's more than you can describe. They can't describe the colors, that it's just, unreal. I mean, it's real, but it's unreal. It is strongly reported by religious believers, but it is also reported by non-believers. So it's not strictly that somebody who believes that that's what's gonna happen sees entirely. It can be somebody that doesn't believe any of what, others believe is gonna happen, and yet they report the same thing. Number 8 is distressing or hellish. It says that 1 in 5 near-death experiences are unpleasant, chaos, darkness, feeling trapped, hearing screams, and they said that people that have those kind of experiences often come back and make some life changes, um, for the better. Anyway, uh, number 9 is transcendent or cosmic unity, a sense of merging with the universe, with God, or all consciousness, basically. They'll say, "I became everything." And it is common in cardiac arrest survivors or intense meditation or psychedelic use. And the last one is time and space, where time stops or it speeds up or it just completely ceases to exist. Like it's just not there, you know. And some experience uh, past, present, and future simultaneously. If I would write good, I could read my own writing. And I really wanted to list those because I want to explore them all. And I want Indigo to tell us about their story, but I don't want anybody that might be listening to think that that's the only kind of experience that's out there. There are more than what this is, more than what I even read off, because each of them have their own variations. And so, anyway, that's what I've got. And I just want to talk to Indigo now and get your story.
Well, I guess just like everything in my life, I guess I don't do things just one at a time. It sounds like I actually had a combination of like 3 different types of
Yeah.
NDEs apparently from
Yeah.
your list. I didn't
I
realize
know. I
I
know,
didn't
that's what I'm
realize those were like all supposed to be separate,
yeah,
like
yeah,
separate things because I
I
kind of
know, isn't that
had
crazy? Like a
a
mixture. And they did
mixture of
say
them. Yeah.
that a lot of people do have combinations of that, that it's not just any
So
one thing.
I will preface by saying, like, I do highly believe that when people pass away, that their spirits still watch over us.
Mhm. I
Because,
do
like,
too.
my NDE happened during a car accident.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
basically, I was um at the cross street, a stop sign, and I looked and I saw this SUV. What would have been like 4 streets away? Like, there was an extra a block of space on my side, a stoplight, and then like 2 extra blocks of space where their
Mhm.
car was. And I was like, "Oh, this is a 35. I have plenty of time to go
Mm.
straight across. There's no oncoming traffic." Well, it turns out they were going 80
Oh,
on a
wow.
35. So,
Mm.
because you mentioned that people report like time slowing
Yeah,
down,
or speeding up.
I
Or
had
yeah,
that with the impact of the car accident.
yeah.
I almost didn't realize like I was in an accident at first
Mhm.
because they T-boned me basically.
Yeah.
Because like I was going like this, like right straight across,
Mhm.
and they came like this.
Yeah.
And so the car spun around. I definitely blacked out. I believe to this day that I have had a concussion because
Mhm.
I can still feel like there's a flat part of my head right here
Mhm.
where it hit the headrest.
Mhm.
Thank you to whoever invented headrests. Because
Yes.
if that wasn't there, I would be dead. Like my neck would have been snapped. That's how
Yeah.
bad the impact was. Because I was going from 0 to like 30 to get across, and
Uh-huh.
they were going 80.
Oh, wow.
So
Mm.
time kind of like I went through like a slow time warp, probably
Mhm.
when the car was spinning.
Probably.
And so my car went from going like this to being like it spun around and ended up in the opposite traffic lane, like at a diagonal to the curb.
Mm.
And it I like came to looking at the curb. So I did not realize I had been hit at first because when
Mhm.
the time slowed down, my brain kind of like skipped the impact part.
Mhm. Yeah.
But like the whole inside of the driver's side door separated from the door. Like that's how bad the impact was. And the front driver's side window shattered in. But they make glass now that just shatters into like
Yeah. Like a big
tiny
piece. Yeah.
confetti so that it doesn't cut you up.
Yeah.
Um, and this car did have a curtain airbag that popped by my head. So obviously the airbag stopped
Yeah.
glass from getting in my face because it would have gotten in my
Mhm.
face. and then the airbag from the steering wheel went off. And
Mhm.
oh gosh, weeks after, I had a dark purple seatbelt bruise. Like, I could not buckle a seatbelt for like a solid 2.5 weeks after the accident because this entire side of my body was damaged. Actually, that's where they think my nerve damage came from.
Mhm.
Because, right, like if this is my car seat, right, my chair, they impacted and my head went like that,
Mhm.
like back against the headrest.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm gripping the steering wheel like
Yeah.
tightly. I guess at some point my body reacted when I was out. Because when I woke up, my hands were like so gripped on the steering wheel that for a minute I thought like I couldn't get my hands off.
Yeah. I understand that. I had kind of the same
And
experience, and my hands, like, they
so
closed on there. I
I
couldn't get
guess
them
so
off.
I had the time slowing. That's one.
Yeah.
So then, of course, the witness to the car accident called the police.
Uh-huh.
This guy, the guy who was on the opposite side of the straightaway from me. Like, so, right, we were both at different stop signs. He calls the
Yeah.
police, the ambulance comes, and like, I honestly do not know how my leg wasn't broken. Like, I'm telling you, the entire inside of that door came off.
Wow.
Like, my leg should have been injured,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. That's why I think the universe or like something intervened. So the EMTs get there and the police get there first, and the police are like, "Do you want us to call anyone?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I can't find my phone." I freaked out. And
Yeah.
they're like, and then I went to try to find it. They're like, "Don't move. Don't move. It's in the back seat on the floor." So the guy who witnessed the car accident, I gave him my mom's phone number,
Mhm.
and they let him hold the phone into the car.
Mhm.
So then I tell my mom, I'm on the corner of two parallel streets. And my mom's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Right? Because like the streets are parallel. There's no corner. Like that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Okay, there's something wrong." And I was like, "I've been in an accident. I'm on the corner of these two parallel streets." So while she's driving over, the ambulance and the EMT show up and they cannot get the door open. I mean, the door is broken. There is no
Yeah.
handle on the inside for them to move and open it. So then they were really cute, by the way. Not the point, but they were really cute. So
That never
one
hurts.
EMT reaches in through the back window because I mean, obviously, more than one window broke from the impact.
Mhm.
So we got an EMT leaning in through the back seat, telling me not to move a muscle, that they're gonna move me. I've got an EMT on the driver's side front window trying to ask me like, "What's my name? What
Mhm.
year is it?" And I'm like, I know the answer to this. I'm good at test taking, except inside my brain, the answer would fire off and then my mouth would not like
Mhm.
say it as fast as I was thinking it.
Yeah.
And I actually remember being like, "I think I'm concussed." But because like I know what I think
Yeah.
like when I'm not concussed, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, "Probably you were in a car accident." So one EMT is reaching down from the driver's side window to move my legs for me because they don't know if I could get spinal damage. They don't want me moving anything. And it was really hard being conscious
Yes.
from the adrenaline, having them move me for me. So then we have two EMTs on the passenger side open that door with the board, the gurney, well, not gurney, but you know what I mean, the thing they
Yeah.
put you
Yeah.
on when they're
Yeah.
taking you out of the car. So they get me on that, and somewhere between getting out of the car and into the ambulance, I start like floating out of my body.
Mm.
So number 2.
Yeah.
Right, so we have time slowing, floating out of my body. The EMTs are like, "Who's the president? Blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Here's the answer." And I remember them like, I'm like, "Don't put the flashlight in my eyes.
Mhm.
That hurt." Like, like I'm weirdly aware that I'm in peril now and that I'm scared. That's when my mom shows up, when they're loading me in the ambulance. My poor dad is just off doing dad things. And my mom's like, well, I can't come with you because I drove here, but I will follow that. Because I was like, come in the ambulance with me. I'm scared. And my mom's like, well, I have to drive to the hospital. Right? Like, I drove my car here to the accident site. So my poor mom has
Yeah.
no idea I'm like having this weird situation going
Yeah.
on. So they put me in the
Exactly.
ambulance, and I'm like looking up at the ambulance ceiling. And I remember them being like, you can't close your eyes. Like, stay with us. Like, because they ask you all these weird questions to keep you awake.
Yeah.
And because I also had said, like, I think I blacked out. My head hurts. I think I blacked out. So they really don't want me, because, like, if
Yeah.
you have a concussion and you fall asleep, you can die.
Mhm.
Like, that's why they wake you up every 2 hours after you've had
Wow.
a concussion, just to
Yeah.
like make sure that you don't do that. So they're like hooking me up to get me to the hospital, and I'm looking at the ceiling of the ambulance, and I go completely out of my body and take a 360 view of the entire street. And when I'm out of my, I guess my spirit or whatever is out of my body looking at the car accident, I go, in my head, I'm having a conversation with myself. I'm like, I was in an accident.
Mhm.
Right. And then in the ambulance, I go, I just want to close my eyes for a minute. I want to take a little nap.
Mhm.
And the EMTs are like, no, no naps. Right. So I did. I closed my eyes
Yeah.
for less than a minute, probably even less than a second, really. And I felt really warm, like just comforting, like,
Mhm.
and I kind of like went into this tunnel. I wouldn't say there was like white light necessarily, but it was like I was viewing something, like I was going through a tunnel to somewhere. And when I got to the other side, like my birth parents were there, because my birth father died when I was 18 and my birth mom died when I was 26.
Mhm.
And I sort of remember being like, oh, I know you guys are dead.
Mhm.
I could stay with you, right? I like asked them, I could stay with you, right? And they're like, you could.
Mhm.
At which point the EMTs woke me up
Yeah.
in the ambulance, but I was still kind of out of my body, right? So I hear sort of from a distance them being
Mhm.
like, wake up, no sleeping, like more
Yeah.
questions, right? Because they just want you to keep talking to keep you awake. And I remember in that moment when they were like, you could stay here, and I felt like just so warm and safe and like nothing was wrong. And then I had this moment inside the ambulance, kind of waking up from closing my eyes a little bit. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm too young to die. Like, there's still more to do. That was like two separate thoughts. I think
Mhm.
my consciousness that was still attached to my body was like, not today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That's what I think.
remember, like, this had to have been happening while they were driving me to the hospital, because I lost track of time. And by the time I was sort of, like, back in my body, it was because, like, all the bright lights and noises and yelling they do when they're, like, wheeling you in from a car accident
Mhm.
are happening. Of course, like, my mom is there. She's, like, trying to talk to them, trying to, like, get back to see me.
Mhm.
Which obviously I knew later on because they let her back,
Mhm.
right? And so it was just really weird being aware that I was in and out of my body at the same time. It's almost
It
like
is
I did not 100% separate from my earthly consciousness,
Mhm.
right? There was
Mhm.
a sliver of a tether there. And that when I came back to my body, everything was jarring, like all the noise and the lights and the questions and the people and the smells.
Mhm.
Just antiseptic. I cannot get the smell of like hospital
Yeah.
antiseptic out of my nose.
Yeah.
It's just like sometimes like if I like have a dream about the car accident, I'll wake up and be like putting perfume in my face just to be like, I
Mhm.
cannot handle like
Mhm.
the alcohol smell.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, it
get
was
that.
really strange because I just remember thinking, oh, like all my problems would be gone.
Mhm.
And then, oh wait, but that's because I would be gone.
Be gone.
But
Yeah.
having that moment where like I chose to come back
Yeah.
is the thing. And so like having that awareness of like choosing to come back has been something I've been looking into. Like have other people, whether or not they saw a void or other people or just a light, like have other people also had that internal subconsciousness clarity of like, I have more to do.
Mhm. I think so from everything that
Like
I read.
because that's what drives me, right? It's why I'm no BS,
Mhm.
right? It's why I don't play games. I'm straightforward. Like I don't mess around because I'm like I could be dead.
Mhm.
I'm like silly drama survived an NDE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and
Oh, I
so
know.
it's like and then when I go through other hard things and there's people who are really there for me, like it was really bizarre trying to like reorient because like they do a bunch of scans on you. They do like head scans and um I'm pretty sure they did whatever scan to make sure that I didn't have spinal damage because
Mhm.
like it was a T-bone car accident. So they're not just gonna wheel me in, do an
Mhm.
intake and send me home, right?
Yeah.
I remember sitting in like oh, also the nurse was really cute. Not the point, but like that's something that's like I had really cute staff that night. That's all I'm saying. Because they were like talking about how like oh I was like why can't you just leave us alone? They're like well you can't fall asleep
Yeah.
because right when you're concussed and I guess mine wasn't like super severe but I had a friend once who got sideswiped by a semi
Oh god.
and her concussion was so bad that she couldn't read books, watch TV, or strain her eyes for like 4 months.
Mm.
And she went insane. She's like, like second week of month 2, she was like, I'm bored. And
Oh,
I'm
I
like, I
bet.
know, but your brain is repairing itself. It's like
I know, but, like, what do
repairing
you
your
do?
eyesight. It's like, what do you do? But like, that's why they were saying, like, we can't let you sleep because if
Mhm.
you do get a concussion and you fall asleep, you can basically you could die because your brain's not all like
Yeah.
there. I don't know the medical
Yeah.
explanation, but that's like the impression I get is they wake you up every 2 hours just to make sure that you're still like alive and able to
Mhm.
be coherent and all that. But it was bizarre having to do that and like talk to the cop about the car accident, like still emotionally realizing I was like, oh my gosh, I'm
Mhm.
in a hospital. I almost died.
Mhm.
Right?
Oh.
Like, and then
Mhm.
having to try to talk about, like, well, where were you sitting in? What was the car accident? Could you draw us a picture? And I'm like, bro, I'm in a hospital. But yeah, I guess I didn't know that, like, the components I experienced are technically separate types. But
Yeah.
I guess it would make sense that they could all kind of mix and match
Oh,
and
yeah.
merge because it's like, I think the reason we don't know everything about our physiology or spirituality is because if we did, it would be like almost dangerous knowledge in a way. But I
Yeah.
think that, like, because up to that point, I had been really exploring like my spiritual beliefs and connecting with like family roots and like making
Mhm.
an effort to have a routine with like meditation and stuff. I think that's why I had that like very clear awareness between my spirit and my brain,
Mhm.
right? And so that's why I
Wow.
say we're like we are spirits inside bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Like our
I believe
body's a
that.
shell basically,
Mhm.
right? A really pretty shell that we can like paint and
Yeah.
customize. But like that's why I believe that, because I'm like, that's kind of what my experience was.
Mhm.
But I just remember the wildest thing was having like the 360 view of the street,
I
like
just can't imagine.
floating above the ambulance, having like this weird moment where I was like, this is me, like in the in the ambulance. Like it was so strange. And like I think it's also why I'm more cautious now
Mhm.
in terms of like I'm trying to be very physically aware of like where I am, where other things are. I think having that sorry,
Mhm.
there's a bug. Um having that like moment of I chose to come back
Mhm.
makes
Yeah.
everything I do feel more important to be intentional, including like my own safety. Like I would think in my 20s, I was a lot more reckless. I would go out and do stupid stuff with my friends a lot because I was in my 20s, and like I feel like that NDE experience made me like value things more,
Mhm.
right? Like real
Yeah.
connections or sharing stories or like helping people find healing, because I was like that could have been my last moment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, having that reflection
Absolutely.
over and over again when it pops in my head is like, I could have died at 25.
Mm.
Like, I would never met you, I wouldn't have met anybody
Yeah.
in your chat, I wouldn't be friends with some of the people that got me through the last 3.5 years, which were, like,
Yeah.
super hard, like, with my cancer and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, well, I would have been dead, so I guess I
Yeah.
wouldn't have had cancer, but I also wouldn't be alive to not have the cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
it's a weird thing.
It's weird, and then when I got my cancer diagnosis, the doctor's like, "You don't seem, like, scared." And I was like, "Well, when I was 25, I had an NDE."
Mhm.
Like, you're telling me you can, like, operate on me and give me medication and put me through a treatment plan.
Yeah.
Like, that is logical. That is, like, it sucks. It's a lot of money. It's exhausting, but you're
Mhm.
basically like, "There's a solution."
Mhm.
And to me, like, kind of I think that's why I didn't emotionally process things for almost a year and a half. Like, I
Mhm.
only really started emotionally processing, like, shit, I had a cancer surgery, like, last year.
Yeah.
And I think because in my brain, again, the time thing, my NDE happened when I was 25. My cancer diagnosis happened in my early 30s. But in terms of
Wow.
spiritual time, time does not exist on a spiritual level.
Mhm.
That is completely a construct that we use on earth to like give us a routine and make us feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And knowing that kind of like weirds me out. It's why I believe like I've had deja vu meeting people where I've
Mhm.
had the very keen understanding I did know you in a past life.
Mhm.
But that's why I think like time spiritually is so much smaller and non-existent than time for us when we're on earth in a
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, like it's hard to explain.
No, I get it. I think people do. I think they get it. So did you immediately tell people about your experience, or did you kinda keep it quiet for a little bit?
No, and I don't think I could have healed from the car accident if I was mentally emotionally processing the NDE.
Mhm.
And so it probably wasn't until like 3 or 4 years after, when I was thinking back on like, because some things came back to me in dreams
Mhm.
and snatches and pieces, especially like the warm kind of like, this is all right feeling that I had. Like it
Mhm.
didn't feel scary to die. And that's something that weirded me out. I almost thought like I would feel afraid.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I was like weirdly chill with it
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
that moment. But I think it's hard to explain to people because I have a mixture of people in my life. Like my mom and my dad are like Lutheran and my uncle's Buddhist, and I have my aunt's Baha'i, and like So I didn't really grow up with like one religion,
Mhm.
even like I'm technically double confirmed
Mhm.
Lutheran and Presbyterian because they confirm at different ages. And I was involved in both churches, one
Mhm.
church up until
Yeah.
high school, and then one church high school through college. And so for me, I think it's like that I've always had a strong spiritual basis. And
Mhm.
that came from like my birth father. He was a minister.
Mhm.
That's how he met my mom. She was like in the hospital and he was like the appointed like visiting minister.
Mhm.
And so I think knowing that there are people out there that I'm spiritually connected to, I think it made me realize like maybe death isn't scary. And
Mhm.
also I believe in reincarnation, so it's like I know that this version of me is temporary.
Mhm.
And I know that would be weird for a lot of people or like maybe make them feel uncomfortable, but to me it's like okay, well, if this is temporary for 60 years, I'm going to make those 60 years damn good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I'm kind of open to other people's like when other people talk about their faith and how they
Yeah.
came to it, I respect that as long as you respect like my beliefs. Like I
Mhm.
don't think that anyone's wrong. I think we technically all believe the same thing. We just call it something different.
Yeah.
But we
I
all
do
believe
too.
there's some higher power, like whether we believe it's within ourselves or
Yeah.
God or whatever, the universe. But
Yeah. I think so too. I think that, as far as religion goes, I think that we are all a lot closer in our beliefs than what we realize we are.
and
We
I think we
just
can connect on a spiritual level
I do
before we
too.
connect as like people to people.
Mhm.
Like we can get a vibe about someone and be like, oh, something just clicks with this person. Like I don't even know them yet, but I just have a really good feeling about it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
get that
because
too.
our souls will so like I understand that not everybody believes in reincarnation.
Mhm.
I believe everybody born now is reincarnated.
Mhm.
I have no idea what part of their personal spiritual journey they're on,
Yeah.
but that's why I believe we get deja vu. We shake someone's hand and we think, "Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
it's you." Like I had that in college. I met this kid for the first time. I shook his hand, and this is I'm more careful as an adult, I think, because I was so much more open when I was younger. I
Mhm.
was like, "I knew you in a past life." And he was like, "You're weird," and never talked to me again. But it was such a strong internal truth that I think this is what people feel when they really believe in Jesus, right? Like however they came to it.
Mhm.
Like it is deep inside the cells of your body, this
Mhm.
feeling that you just know
Yeah.
that you're trusting a power and that some maybe for me, when I met this guy, I was like, I definitely knew you before.
Mhm.
And I tried to explain it to him then. I'm like, I don't know you now, but
Yeah.
I knew you at some point in my past.
Yeah.
But I knew it so strongly, kind of as strongly during my NDE that I was like, I could just die,
Mhm.
but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the thing is like I have a drive to do what I do because I had a second chance.
Mhm.
I had the moment to choose to come back. That's why it's a near death
Yeah.
experience,
Not a death experience.
not
Yeah.
a death. But also, I mean, humans were very spiritual and we're very concerned about like what's out there, right? I mean, you see it in TV shows where they explore like what do people see after they die? Like what if
Yeah.
someone came back? We should like what if someone did die fully, get
Mhm.
resuscitated and like we want to talk to them about what they experienced. But I think part of the reason we shouldn't have that knowledge is I don't think we would use it for the right reason.
I think that
I
there's
think
things that we're
people
just
would
not
try to
supposed to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Cause like we're supposed to be curious and like ever
Mhm.
learning and
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to like
Know
really
everything.
know
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, but yeah, it's so interesting because even talking to other people I've met throughout YouTube, it's like I would be more scared if my near death experience happened in a hospital.
Really?
Right? Like, yeah, if I was like in my surgery and like something went terribly wrong and I was aware that I was like
Yeah.
resuscitated, I feel like that would have been more scary than the car
Yeah.
accident.
I can understand that.
But
I can
yeah,
understand
there's people who have reported that very thing. Like they saw the doctors, they heard
that.
the music, they heard them say things. And then when they come back to in the recovery room, they're like, why were you making this joke? And the doctor's like, how did you even
Yeah. Yeah.
know that I
Exactly.
said that? Like you were supposed to be out
Mhm.
during that moment. But I also think our souls, when we sleep, it does a lot for our body internally, but I also think our souls do a lot when we're not
Mhm.
when our consciousness is taking a nap.
Mhm.
Might
Yeah.
visit each other in our dreams, might have an epiphany that comes as a dream, whatever the
Mhm.
case is. I do think that like both physically and spiritually a lot happens when we're asleep.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's why we do have those moments of like disassociation is when we're awake and something so intense happens that we kind of like can't deal with it in the moment. I think that's like the precursor to that part of the NDE where you kind of like go out of body.
Mm.
You're like, oh, scary car accident. Boop.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, when I had my car accident, I didn't have, like, a near-death experience, but I did lose time, like, I absolutely could not remember. I remember knowing that he was going to hit me, and it was like you T-boned and he was flying, and, I wasn't moving very fast, but, because I was rolling through an intersection where I had the right of way, I didn't have to stop, so I'm rolling through it and kinda watching, saw him again way down the road, but he
Right.
hit me, and I remember knowing he was gonna hit me, but my next thing that I know was or that I knew, I remember it now, but I didn't for a long time, was I was in the ditch and I was facing the other direction. What I didn't know was that somewhere in there the car had spun around 6 times, and,
Oh, who?
they
Yeah, I
could
don't
see
even know how many times my
yeah,
car,
they could
the
see the
car I was
marks
in
on the
spun around.
road.
Like, who?
I hit my head, on the steering wheel, I hit my head on the back of the seat or, the seat the
Yeah.
headrest. I have a flat spot on the back of my head now that I
Yeah.
didn't
Is it
have
like right
before.
here?
Yeah,
Same. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't have it before. Now, like I said, I don't remember any kind of an experience. I just lost time. It just ceased to I don't know if I blacked out. I mean, I may even
It was
passed
like
out.
seeing them in real time being far away,
Yeah,
having the realization like, "Oh, they're gonna hit me," but then them getting to you is like molasses.
yeah,
You're like, "Oh, they're gonna hit me." Molasses, impact, and then you're
yeah,
like, "Where is that chunk of time between seeing them and getting hit?"
mhm. But I didn't, like,
It's like,
float
"Zoop."
above my body or anything. I
It's like
kinda wish I
someone
had. I think
rewound
that would've been
them.
kinda
It's like
cool.
if somebody rewound
Mm,
you, but fast forwarded them.
yeah,
So, like, you're
yeah,
like,
mhm. I get that.
isn't that and it's wild too because it's like, how
Mhm.
much happened when we were blacked out?
Yeah,
Like, you said someone told you how much the car spun around, like, I have no
mhm.
idea. I was really lucky there was no oncoming traffic that hit me from the opposite direction.
Yeah,
Well, so, like, if I'm going like this, he hit me, I spin around this way, so now the driver's side's that way.
mhm.
I must have spun around more than once because, again,
Oh,
I was
yeah, probably.
facing the curb of the oncoming lane.
Yeah. Well, I
So
was
I
on a
was
rural
still
road, so there was no
yeah.
traffic where I was at. Boy,
Ooh,
it's scary.
it
It's
is.
just the weirdest feeling. It is a weird feeling. Like I said, I didn't, like, have any kind of experience with it other than just, the time disappeared. Like, I just had amnesia of a certain amount of time, and, it stayed gone for a couple of months, and then one day I was talking to my mom on the phone, and it just, like, flashed, like, flashes of what happened, almost like photographs
Yeah.
of the cars of I looked and that he hit me, and that and I could remember the impact then, and then also the spinning, I could remember that,
Did
but
your car, like, crunch when you got hit? Because
yeah,
I just remember, like, not being, like, scared. Like, I remember the crunch sound,
I don't remember the
but
sound, but it
thinking
did,
but
it
but
was
thinking, like, "That can't be me."
yeah.
It was so weird. Like, there's certain sounds, like, I even avoided that corner for, like, 2 years.
Mhm.
Like, I would go out of my way to avoid having to turn on that street at all,
I
even
had to
though it meant
pass that
taking, like, an entire circle to get back to my parents' house. Like, I just
I
couldn't do it.
I had to pass that intersection to get away from my house. I was, like, not even a quarter of a mile away from my house when it happened, and, it was really bad, like, I mean, there was blood everywhere because, I hit my head and the glass and everything, but, I had my two-year-old nephew with me. He's almost 3 at that point, and then whenever we whenever I was back, aware of everything, he says, "I was a good boy." And I said, "Oh, honey." And he had a little bowl that had Skittles in it, and
Oh,
he said, "I didn't spill my candy." Yeah, and I was just like, "Yeah."
oh
But I
my
reached
god.
back, with my, right arm and unbuckled him and pulled him up into the seat with me and sat there and
I
just,
didn't
like,
spill my ca
I didn't spill my candy. I was
I
a
will
good
tell,
boy.
Ben did ask a question
Oh, okay,
about,
yeah.
um I actually had psychic abilities before my accident,
Okay.
and I think they are enhanced afterwards.
Cool.
So I say, like, memories come to me in dreams, but I've also actually had dreams of real life events that end up
Mhm,
occurring.
mhm.
Of course, in the dream, the knowledge is given to me in a way that doesn't seem threatening.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one of my friends is like, "Well, if that's really true, why don't you do anything about it?" And I would give you an example. I had a dream back in 2015 or 16 that there was a guy walking around an Air Force base, airport with a gun, shooting
Mhm.
people. And then I woke up the next morning and lo and behold, on the news, a guy shot up. I can't remember which base it is right now.
Yeah,
I use this example to say if I call up the government
yeah.
and I'm like, crazy story, a guy of this description with a weapon of this description is going to shoot up a place of this description that's also military. And it happens. I'm not staying home in my comfy chair, man.
Mm-mm. No,
Uh-uh.
that's why I'm laughing. Not that I don't believe you,
I'm
I
on
was
a list.
laughing.
I'm on a
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
so and it's been really interesting. Like my intuition is a lot
Mhm,
stronger. Like, for example, I had an intuition about a friend being pregnant before she even told her husband, which was
mhm.
awkward because I thought the dream was real life. And so I texted her and she's like, I haven't told anyone. That's really creepy. And I was like, you told me in my dream, I guess. I don't know, girl. Like, we're
Yeah.
connected. What can I say? But yeah, there were studies done that weren't NDE related, but were psychic ability related in the
Mhm.
60s and early 70s. Um, where and obviously at some point the government stopped funding them, so they kind of
Yeah.
stopped happening, but they were trying to figure out how spirituality was linked to sort of like prophetic stuff, like
Mhm.
prophecy dreams like I have, or like when people, might call you up and be like, "Hey, don't go to the." Another thing, I had a dream about a shooting that happened in Chicago like a few years ago.
Mhm.
And I called up a friend and I'm like, "You need to call out of work tomorrow." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I have a really
Mm.
awful feeling." And so he called in sick, and then and then he texted me the next day like, "You're creepy." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Listen, I didn't know the context. I just knew I woke up and had a really awful feeling about this location and ended up canceling brunch. I was supposed to be in that area
Mhm.
that day that incident happened, meeting
Yeah.
someone for brunch." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I have a really bad feeling we should cancel."
Yeah.
But it's the
Wow.
clarity of things is more I know. And it's hard to explain to people who don't believe in miracles, or even like the telepathy tapes are another podcast I recommend people
Mhm.
who are open-minded listen to. It's a set of experiments that were done with people with autism
Mhm.
and their close friends or family members that they have a special link to.
Mhm.
And the more you listen to it, and how they set this up was like, okay, if you were my person and I was the psychic autistic person, they would have you in a totally other room, and then they would be like, think of a flower. And I would be like in a totally other room where I can't hear or see you. And then they would ask me like, what flower did they think of? And I would say a
Mhm.
rose, and then like you would be like, "Oh my god, it was a rose. How did you know that?"
Mhm.
And they're thinking that
Hmm.
there might be a real thing to explore there, like maybe having the traditional brain, I guess,
Yeah.
shut down in a way opens up an aspect
Mhm.
that
I
gives
just
you
I
that
just think that there are
kind of
infinite
connection.
possibilities. I just,
Yeah,
I
it's really
don't
interesting.
I'm very open-minded to a lot of that kind of stuff. I wanna
But
go
yeah,
through
I would
some
say
of our, starred
questions.
comments because Jan came in and started starring some stuff for me,
Jan
so
is amazing.
yeah. She found a way to mod even though she didn't have a wrench.
She got in the back room,
She
yeah.
went in the back room, right. So, Marilee says, "Not an NDE, but when my son stopped breathing, everything slowed down and gave me time to do everything right." That's I've heard of that kind of thing. Again, I don't know, if it's the same kind of deal, but it is in a way because it's all with our, you know, unconscious soul, not our
And they say too
conscious
that, like,
thoughts.
parental connection,
Yeah.
has an extra level,
Mhm.
I guess, spiritually and subconsciously,
Yeah, I think so
um,
too.
and that's interesting too because you say, like, things slowed down for you so you could do everything right. I would be really interested to hear
I would too.
what his perspective was after the fact.
Mhm.
Like, if he
Yeah,
was aware that you were trying like, are people who need resuscitation at some point subconsciously aware they're being resuscitated? Because I would assume then that your brain would block that for a time and then kind of, like, release that knowledge later on.
yeah. We had to do
It's
my
really
my
fascinating.
oldest daughter had a seizure and, completely stopped breathing, her heart stopped the whole bit, and she was 6, and we had to resuscitate her, and she has never remembered any of that part of it. Like, she has never
Yeah.
regained any kind of memory of that, the flight in life flight, she doesn't remember any never did. I mean, granted, she's 38 years old now, but I mean, at 6, 10, 12, whatever, she's never remembered any of that. She has remembered other parts of it, like afterwards and stuff, but she has never remembered being resuscitated, and I don't have any memory of whenever I went into anaphylactic shock in the doctor's office. And,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it was, I was gonna have chemo, and they were giving me my, they were doing my port, and they put, lidocaine in it to numb it so that whenever they, which makes no sense, give me a shot so that I don't feel when you put the needle in to give me
Yeah,
to give
right?
me but that's what they were doing for a while, so, um, anyway, I went into, anaphylactic shock, and I remember saying, "Something's wrong, I don't feel right," and I can remember literally feeling my head fall backwards, and I can remember a lot of people, but I can't remember what they did. I can't remember anything that happened, like what they did to bring me back or anything. And they said, I
Yeah.
mean, they called an ambulance and they weren't 100% sure they were gonna get me back. I mean,
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
yeah, it was bad. I mean, which
So you
I
had a
learned
reaction
afterwards.
to the lidocaine?
Yeah, yeah, to the lidocaine. And what's weird is that they had done it several times before that, and I would get like itchy palms or I mean, like, they'd get, like, red. They'd look like red and get a rash on them, and I would just sit and scratch and scratch and scratch. I thought I was having a panic attack, just the thought of having to have chemo again, because I mean, that was this was the 3rd time that I had to have all this, and so
Yeah,
just the whole thought of it
sure.
and, being in an oncology clinic and, the whole bit, and so I thought that it was just a panic attack. And so, that's what my doctor thought too. But yeah, what happened was it just kept getting worse every time, and so then that happened, and so now they're like, "Never have lidocaine again. As bad as that was, you
They're
will
like
not
Susie's
survive it.
chart,
Never."
allergies, lidocaine.
Yeah, I have a bracelet, I have a necklace, I have everything that's like, "No, no."
I need to get a medical bracelet. That's the next thing on my list.
Yeah, you
But, like,
do.
yeah, I wonder too, like, if it's interesting because I wonder if they caught the signs earlier if you would have gotten to that 3rd point. Like, obviously, the
Yeah,
itchy palms might not have
yeah,
been a
yeah,
well-known sign,
yeah, yeah.
but
I
I'm
don't think
just wondering,
anybody thought
like,
about it. Yeah,
that's scary though, because anaphylaxis is just like
yeah.
they have to act pretty fast to get you out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Well, they
I
said
carry
that
so, like, I
they did an
spend a
EpiPen.
ridiculous amount of money for my EpiPens, like
Uh-huh,
2 per box.
uh-huh.
I basically wait until they go cloudy and then renew them, but,
Mhm.
like, I'm only deathly allergic to 2 things, so half the time I'm carrying it around, I'm like, "Oh, I don't really like,"
Yeah.
but I might.
Yeah. I know,
It's
it
so
feels like such a
scary,
waste of money, and yet it's like, yeah, but,
but
what if I didn't remember to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm allergic to lidocaine," and, I mean,
I
I'm
wonder
dreading,
what
like, when
they've
I have to go back
had.
to the dentist or anything like that. So, I'm gonna see what Carrie has to say. Carrie said, "Marilee, I totally understand that, what you're saying. I revived someone before and it felt the same way. Like time slowed down. I
Yeah.
can understand that." And Marilee says that it's happened 3 times.
You know what I think? I think when you're in the crisis mode, like, someone
Mhm.
passes out, you're like, "Shit, I gotta
Yeah.
do CPR." Your focus narrows
Yeah.
so much
Mhm.
that, like, you lose track of time because you're just so focused on the
Yeah.
task. You're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I do this, I do that," like, and
Yeah.
you're not realizing time is passing.
Yeah, like your whole focus is straight on that and nothing
They've said
else.
that people have said that, like, parents also get, like, ridiculous bursts of strength to save
Mhm.
their kids, like, people have lifted cars off their kids,
Yeah.
like, that have never,
Yeah.
like, weightlifted in their life, but they're just like, "My
Mhm.
kid!" Like, it's crazy what our bodies and our spirits can do. I mean, I think it's like, truly do you think it's possible to connect that deeply with somebody? and have like, we say we're empaths, but like recently when I was cat sitting for my one friend, I just started like crying for 2 days and I'm like, which friend is this? I'm
Yeah.
texting like all my close friends, and then my best friend is like, oh man, I was just so sad the last 3 days. And I was like, I knew it
Aw.
was someone.
Yeah, I knew it was
Like,
somebody.
a few years later,
Uh,
she died. She came to me in dreams.
so I'm gonna look at this one too. Marilee says, now I'm rethinking my emergency C-section. Everything was in slow motion and my BP was tanking.
Oh, you think maybe you had like
Yeah, like
that would be interesting study group,
we could have
like
Marilee on here
pregnant
for
women
everything.
who have
Yeah.
like had NDEs in childbirth, because it's like you're birthing a human,
Uh-huh.
but like you're also human. So I wonder if there could be transference there. Like,
I don't
because you
know.
could lose the baby technically, if depending what
Yeah.
point of the procedure they're
Mhm.
at.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah. I I've rode in an ambulance twice. Once was with the lidocaine, and the second time I was septic from an infection whenever I was in the midst of my chemo. And so anyway, the first time with the lidocaine, I literally was in an office on one side of a 4-lane street and had to cross the street to the hospital on the other side of it. So that was my big ride, was like from one parking lot to another, one across the street.
Right.
But the second one, whenever I was there, I think if I was ever to say that I think that I was honestly near death enough to have some sort of an experience, but I don't remember any of it if I did, would have been then when I was septic. And all I know is that I was in this is embarrassing, but okay. One of those TMI from Susie, as usual. But anyway, I was in there and I kept telling the paramedics that I was going to, quote, "shit my pants."
Oh no.
I don't know what I thought that he could do about it. We're speeding down the highway, headed an hour to the hospital, but that's what I kept telling him. But I remember that actually when I told him we were still in my driveway. But my daughter says that I still said it a couple of times after we got going. But I literally have no memory. So evidently my go-to is to just shut down, because I literally have no memory from leaving the driveway, the hour to the hospital, and by the time I woke up, they already had my clothes off of me, had me in a hospital gown, I was in a hospital bed, I had IVs, and my family was all sitting there. And I just, like, look around like, "Oh, hi," I
Yeah,
have
like, oh hey.
zero memory of any of that. So I think
Yeah,
where I go is instead of, like, floating around outside of my body, I think that I just shut down. Like,
you go internal.
yeah, it's weird.
I think the reason I do is because I've been through like, I hadn't been stalked at that point, but I was in like a DV situation in that year that I had the NDE.
Mhm.
So I feel like I had signs of hypervigilance.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's why maybe I didn't fully like
Yeah.
disassociate or untether from myself. Because I remember actually having this sensation while I was lying in the ambulance where I was like, I feel like I'm not in my body.
Mhm.
I didn't say anything out loud. It was just,
Yeah.
I kept thinking about my hand for some reason. I'm like, I can't feel my hand. Like,
Yeah.
it's on my arm. Like, they're sticking a needle in there. Like, where is my hand at? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just such a basic thing. Like, we don't think about being connected to our
Mhm.
limbs. Like, we take it for granted. But I also think, like, maybe also having nerve damage where like my nerves don't fire right, things go numb, and I still have to walk around, I still have to do my job,
Mhm.
right? Like I still have to live.
Mhm.
And so I think part of me is just more aware because of
Yeah,
all the little things that led up to that moment. That's interesting. So I think maybe it's a preservation thing either way, right? It's
I
like
think
maybe
so
if you
too.
go internal and kind of like time skips, then you're not like
Aware of it. You're not
as
trying to. Yeah.
traumatized. Like you're not afraid in the moment that they're taking. I was afraid in the moment they took me to the hospital because I was aware that I
Mhm.
was not in a good condition.
Well, I had to have been pretty close to death because my blood pressure was 62/35,
Oh,
and that's
girl,
pretty much dead. I mean, you know,
girl,
yeah.
you were a cute corpse. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I was not very cute because
Your
yeah.
makeup was on point. No. No,
Yeah.
but that's interesting because, like, but then you said
Yeah.
obviously once you were in the hospital gown, everyone was around you, kind of looked around.
Yeah, and I
You
was
kind
still
of,
very, very sick, obviously,
yeah,
but I was aware, and I did keep just going back to sleep, but, that's because 'cause you're weak, but, I mean, the other part, it wasn't like I was asleep, I was gone, I don't know where, I was like, I have no memory of it, that's been over a year ago now, and I have 0 memory of it. I
maybe you
remember being
found
in the
another version
hospital.
of an NDE.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'll have to
Well,
read
I'm just
more.
thinking about it because, like,
Yeah,
it could make sense. So, like, when we sleep, our bodies clear out a lot of stuff. Or, like, for example, when you get a massage, they tell you to drink a lot of water
yeah,
because otherwise the toxins will just like reroute to your muscles,
mhm,
do all this weird stuff. I wonder if when we're in that like zone between like death and resuscitation or like consciousness and unconsciousness,
mhm.
if there's
Yeah, I don't know. I
something
wondered
going
too.
on that we're not supposed to be aware of. Because I'm
Yeah,
almost wondering too, like a lot of people say that like they I'm interested by the people who have it during like a medical experience
mhm,
where they hear things the doctors are saying or they see things. Like it has to be spiritual because they're anesthetized
mhm,
for the most part.
mhm.
I would be curious to know how those medical staff feel if they're told
Yeah,
later on that like this person had this experience, because that's not something you could really quantify with insurance.
mhm,
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this
mhm,
person had an NDE, like that is a risk of surgery. You could pass away when you're getting surgery, but at the same
mhm.
time, there's been people who have sued hospitals at least. Like one guy, they gave him the right amount of paralytic, but not the right amount of unconscious.
Mhm.
And so he mentally woke up during his
Yeah.
heart surgery. And what
Oh,
his brain did was interpret it that he was like abducted by aliens because the OR light is the
yeah, I can
brightest
get that.
it's so bright. And I know because I didn't get knocked out right away. Like I was still conscious when they put me on the OR table. And
Mhm.
then they were like, think happy thoughts. And they put the mask
Yeah.
on my
Yeah,
face.
it is bright. I've
But
had
when
it
I
too.
saw that light, it kind of made me think of that guy. Like you're sitting like this, like your chest is open. You can only see people's hands. The light's white, it's round, it's bright. You can't move
They've
your
got all that
eyes.
stuff on, and a
You
lot of
can't
times
move
it's
your eyes
green.
because part of anesthesia is it
Yeah.
makes your body still so they can operate, but it
Mhm.
knocks you out so you're unaware of what's happening, except his awareness came back. So he couldn't
Mhm.
even move his eyes. His eyes were like up, like right? And so his
Yeah.
brain interpreted it that he was abducted by aliens. Then his wife figured out what happened. Then they sued the hospital. But like, it's one of those things.
Oh, wow.
Well,
So
because it
be
caused him like a lot of
Oh,
emotional
yeah.
and mental
Yeah,
trauma moving forward.
I'm
He was like
sure.
terrified to go to the doctor.
Yeah, I bet. So B says, question to both Susie and Indigo. Since you're NDE, are you psychic now? The majority of psychics have had NDEs.
Oh, I think her and Ben answered or asked similar questions.
Yeah, they did.
I was psychic before my NDE, like
Yeah.
I said before. So mine has opened up. My third eye cannot close.
Yeah.
I can't be like, I don't have this. Like it's very there. It's very active.
Yeah.
I've also like the last 2 times my dad was hospitalized, I had very clear dreams that I was trying to find him in a hospital and couldn't. And then I called my mom and I'm like, "What's going on? Is he in the hospital again?" And she was like, "Yes, we're in the recovery room." Like when he had a stroke, I had a dream. I guess it would have been in the morning, like I was asleep still, but he was having the stroke, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I had like this dream that I was on the kitchen floor,
Yeah.
like just on my hands and knees, like really
Yeah.
disoriented. And then I called my mom like that afternoon. I was like, "Where are you? Where is dad?" And she's like, "Oh, he had a stroke. He's in recovery in the ICU."
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so my abilities have gotten a lot, like I said, a lot more clear, and they're not really things I can ignore anymore. Like when I first started kind of having things happen when I was younger, I was like, I probably made it up. I watch a lot of
Yeah.
supernatural TV shows. I probably just made this up. Like it's not something that happened. But then the more and more, I guess the more dreams I had that turned into real life events
Mhm.
where I didn't know the context of who or where it was happening, but basically the event itself happened in my dream, then I was like, okay, I can't ignore this. This isn't just me making things up. I'm not diagnosed with any like schizophrenia or like dissociative
Yeah. Yeah. I get
delusions
that.
or anything like that. And so I think after I kind of saw my birth parents and was like, okay, I'm going to come back now. I have more to do.
Mhm.
My abilities have gotten stronger because I'm supposed to use them to do whatever I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Or they've
I don't
led me to you, or they've led me to other people
mm,
who need support in some way. So I do
yeah.
believe that the universe kind of like had to kickstart me into just taking shit seriously
Mhm.
instead of making excuses and being logical about it. It's like, no, these abilities are not logical, but you have them. So now you have to do something. And I don't know. I'm still figuring out what my purpose is, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're
As far
definitely part
as
of it.
as far as me, I don't know that I've ever, I don't know if I've had an NDE. Like I don't it doesn't fit any of what I studied and read earlier. But who knows? I've had 2 different situations where I literally was about as close to death as you can be. And so I don't know if I did, and I don't consider myself psychic, but I am very intuitive. Uh, I don't know. I have an intuition about things a lot, and I'll have dreams. Like I'll have dreams about people, but it won't be anything that's going to happen. Like I will just suddenly have a dream about somebody that I haven't seen or haven't talked to or, thought about. And maybe they're not the focus of the dream, but they're in it, and they're in it enough that I know that they're in it and that they have a big part in the dream. They're just not maybe the focus of it. And then within a day or 2, I'll hear that something happened. Not always bad, but sometimes, yeah, sometimes bad, but sometimes it'll be, "Hey, did you hear that so and so?" And, whatever it is. And I'll be like, "That's so weird because I've not heard about this person or thought about this person until I just had a dream about them, and now you're doing this." And I don't know if that's any kind of a, thing, but I've always thought it
Oh
was
no,
weird.
dreams are definitely a spiritual communication path.
And then,
I
like,
started dream walking after my NDE, like
mhm.
into like other people's dreams.
Oh,
Like, so
yeah.
I would have a dream, I would wake up, I would text her and be like, I had this really weird dream that I was like in this room and you were like 7 and we were playing hide and seek and I told you to hide in this place And then that person would be like, I also had that dream, but
That's
but
crazy.
it
Yeah.
gave me
Yeah.
basically like they were having a trauma dream and I just show up like a
Yeah.
future dream walking version of myself,
Mhm.
protect them, and now they
Wow.
have like an internalized power given back to them from a moment that traumatized them in the past.
Mhm.
But I don't know this until we talk about the fact that we basically had the same dream from two different perspectives.
Mhm.
But like the intuition too, I think like maybe after you do have an NDE, you sort of have to have like not
Mhm.
that you have to have a more open mind, but maybe that you develop one because your
Yeah.
experience is a real thing that happened to you.
Yeah. And so it
Right.
opens a
Like
world of possibilities. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Well, I think I was kinda laughing whenever you said that you can't close your third eye because I used
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
feel like that I was, way more intuitive about things, but I remember the night that my sister died, and I immediately knew when my mom called me that my sister was dead. I mean, I had no reason to know. She had a seizure. Um, she had not been ill. I mean, there was no lead up to it. My mom
Mhm.
called me all the time. So she called me this one night, and before I picked up the phone, I was already shaking because I knew she was going to tell me my sister was dead. And then we got in the car to head towards my parents' house because the ambulance was there and they were, getting her loaded up and everything, and to follow the ambulance to the hospital. And they pulled out as we were pulling in, and my then husband, he said, "Do you want me to just go or do you want me to pull up at your mom's?" And I said, "Go up and see who's at mom's because we're too late anyway." And he said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "She's already dead." I was kind of like, "Duh," you know.
Yeah. You're like, "Hello."
I've been saying this.
Yeah.
But anyway, since then it's like that I have really pushed back on it. And if I start having any kind of thought processes, I start pushing away from it and don't like to. And another weird thing that happens to me is that if if I'm in a room, I can hear all the conversations that are going on around me.
Oh my god, you have that too?
I hear it
I thought
completely
I was the
clearly.
only
No,
one.
no. It's awful
I can
because
have
it's
2
so
like, if you were on this side and Ben, because I see his name right there, was on this side, I could hold 2 completely separate
yeah,
conversations.
I can too. But I can hear, like, when I got married, I was walking down the aisle, I could hear specific conversations. I know who said what, like, not just, like, the murmuring, like, I know that was this person. "Oh, so and so said this, so and so said that." Same thing at funerals
Oh, hopefully they weren't
or
trying to hide it, cause
yeah,
like,
because 'cause I'd be,
girl,
like, going, "Listen,
bust
bitch."
it.
Yeah. Listen, I know what you said.
Or like, when you were talking about your sister, like, the first
Mhm,
time I had, um, an out of body experience, like a not a death one, but like
mhm,
a spiritual one,
mhm,
it was when my uncle died, and I, like, was asleep, but I walked down the hallway at his office, which I'd never seen before in my life, like, saw him lying in his office doorway, woke up screaming because obviously terrifying,
mhm.
and my mom was like, "What's happened?" I'm like, "He's dead, like, Uncle K is dead," and she's like, "I'm sure it's just a bad dream." I'm like, "No, he was lying, like, in this location," and she's like, "Okay, alright, we'll call so and so." Obviously, I was in 8th grade at the point, so she was
Yeah,
like, "Could be imagination, could be
yeah,
just stop watching scary things that you're too young to watch," and I'm like, "Never." Whatever.
yeah.
But then she couldn't get a hold of my aunt
Mhm.
because at the time, she was at the office with the paramedics being
Ugh.
like, "Yep, that's my ex-husband. Yeah, he's dead." And
Oh,
then by the
wow.
time they got him to the hospital and then they called us at 3 in the morning, and I was like, "I told you." I told you it was true.
Mhm.
And then the deja vu thing, when we went to his funeral, I remember walking down into the funeral home basement
Mhm.
because at this particular funeral home, the ground floor was all like visitation and
Yeah.
businessy stuff, and they had this really nice like holding lounge, I guess, in the basement. And I remember walking down the stairs, turning and seeing all my cousins sitting, and I'm like, yeah, that's where they were sitting. And then I had this weird, but what does that mean? Because this is the only time he's dying.
Yeah.
So I must have had
Yeah.
another dream about the future or something, because when I walked down, like the entire room, every detail was deja vu, not just where they were sitting, but like what they were wearing, what people were saying to each other, like the color of the wallpaper. It was just like so. And then I was terrified because I was young, so I like tried
Mhm.
to ignore it.
Well, I got a weird
Um,
one for you. I was in high school and we were in the McDonald's parking lot. This is in California. So we were in the McDonald's parking lot and I was in the truck with my boyfriend and a friend of ours was on his motorcycle in front of us. And he pulled out, it was his fault. He pulled out in front of a car. He didn't wasn't paying attention. I don't know what happened cuz anyway, he died. So anyway, we saw him get hit, fly through the air, land on the ground, but I saw his soul leave his body. I saw like his like a image, but blurry,
mhm.
leave his body, and before we even knew that he was dead, like we backed up and parked in the park, and but I saw it as immediately.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, and I'm a medium, which is a blessing and not a blessing at the same time.
Yeah.
When I lived with not my most recent ex, but the ex before him, we kind of lived in an area that was triangulated between multiple cemeteries.
Hmm.
And I remember telling him, I'm like, stop messing with gates and rituals. You are like making it hard for me to sleep because now these spirits want help, and I'm trying to sleep because I have a night shift. Can we like not?
Hmm.
Because I've seen like actual corporal ghosts before.
Hmm.
And then when I thought I was seeing things right, I would like type stuff into Google and be like, okay, this description, like
Yeah.
random description of person, time period of clothing, and then it would pop up a news story. And I would be like, God
Mhm.
damn it.
Yeah, I have a story like that too. I'm
I'm
gonna
like, I
tell
don't know how to
later.
do this. I'm not ready to be this yet. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go to a friend and be like, your dead grandpa gave me a message for you. Like, give me
Yeah.
time to like get comfortable with the fact that I'm even seeing the ghost to begin with.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, having to give a message to
Yeah.
someone.
I am like a ghost magnet. I kid you not, I'm a ghost magnet. And I remember
Oh
one
no.
time I was just like,
No ghost
"Listen,
hunting for Susie because she just
no,
will get them
I will
all.
bring them all home." We
Oh
had this
no.
ghost that literally came home with us, and I remember telling this ghost, "Okay, I'm fine with you being here. I really just don't wanna see you. Like, I know you're there. I can feel you, the whole bit. I know you're there, but I'm not comfortable seeing you." And I never did. And he left whenever we had an ice storm and we were without electricity for 13 days
Yeah.
because they need energy. I'm gonna check out some of these questions again.
I
Ben
know. Make
said,
sure if we didn't miss anything.
"Yeah, interested in a question I never asked when they were on my show. Have you noticed an increased ability with Zener cards and whatnot since?"
You know what? I've never actually Zener cards are what they use to like test that you have psychic ability. Kind of like
Mhm,
that experiment I told you about where they like separated the people into different
mhm,
rooms and were like, think of a number, and then the person would say the number.
mhm,
Zener cards are like that with images. So they'll be like, I'm looking at this card that you can't see because there's a solid screen between us.
Mhm.
And then the person would be like, oh, you're looking at a dog. And they'd be like, it is a dog. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I've actually never been like psychically tested because all of my stuff that has occurred has been like outside of a lab.
Mhm.
And it's not something that I've like told doctors because I don't
Yeah.
believe a lot. Society is not okay with the gray line between science and spirituality. They
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
explain everything with science, and I know that's not possible.
Yeah. Or spirituality,
Um,
but not the spirituality, but religion. Religion
yeah,
prevents people from being open to the spirituality of things, if that makes
I
any
could see
sense.
that too. Yeah, because it kind of like makes people afraid of
Mhm.
like prophecy dreams or
It's like witchcraft. That's what they
yeah,
see it as,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
you know? Yeah.
But yeah, I've never actually been tested with cards and stuff before, but a lot of my intuitions will be kind of very clear but very random. Like the year the Chicago White Sox won the World Series, they were like super down in the third inning against the whoever. And I looked at my dad, I'm like, they're gonna win. And my dad is like, it's like 0-9. And I'm like, they're gonna clinch it. Don't worry, Dad. And it went into like so
Yeah.
many extra innings and they
Mhm.
won. But it's like, how could I have known that?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
follow baseball or stats or any of that, but in that
Yeah.
moment, I was like, I know this for a fact.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, okay. Ben says, I used to think NDEs were DMT being released by the brain, but there are too many cases of people in NDEs knowing things that they shouldn't. So, Ben is a cool dude. So, Ben says, Isaiah Scholes and Rachel Scott both mentioned they knew that they were going to, I guess, die shortly before an attack on their. Oh, wow. Mm. Mare says, I'm very familiar with those types of dreams.
I think when we were talking about like
Mhm.
our intuition prophecy
Yeah.
type dreams. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to say because I think what I understand about trauma, because recently I had a dream and then I talked to my sister and she's like, no, that is a thing that happened to you. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
great. I'll just call my therapist about that, I guess. Um, from what I understand, the reason that our brains block specific details is the amount of energy it takes to create in our body to heal it after a car accident or to
Mhm.
fight off cancer 3 times. Like, geez, you're
Yeah.
seriously amazing. Um, if we were trying to understand and internalize an NDE at the same time we're trying to heal, we wouldn't heal.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think from that having that understanding, I think it's why we're trained in society to be afraid of those things.
Mhm.
Because if we understand our true internal power, then they can't control us. If we're
Yeah.
like, hey, NDEs exist and I survived one, and your BS is just not it, then
Yeah.
they're going to be like, dang it, another person has awoken. Like, and
Yeah.
I think they try to cut us off from our natural spiritualism and
Mhm.
try to control how we believe. And I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Like you believe in God. Sam from
Yeah.
After the Bars believes in God. I've heard other people I watch talk about it, but you all have different interpretations of how it
Mhm.
affects you because of what you've been through as individuals.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about spirituality, why I say I'm a spiritualist and not don't follow a religion. I'm
Mhm.
also pagan. I say pagan because Wicca is actually like its own
Yeah. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I get
Druidism
it.
is its own separate thing. I don't follow a specific group's way of doing it.
Mhm.
because I've had such unique experiences for myself. And I
Mhm.
think in order to be authentic, I just feel like having discussions with people, like people think about miracles, right?
Mhm.
Like, what if Jesus's miracles were just witchcraft? But
Yeah.
they called it miracles because they didn't want to call it. But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, or
transmuting one thing into
yeah.
another is
Well
magical.
well, what I don't understand
That's a bad
is
example, but like,
yeah, but I know what you mean. To believe in God, okay, and I don't wanna get too religious,
no,
but
no,
to
I
believe
mean, just,
to
yeah,
to
just, yeah.
yeah, 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 I just mean I don't wanna get too religious,
But
but
that can
to
work into
believe in
NDEs too,
Him.
right? Like, if you
Yeah.
believe in heaven and you have an NDE, you might see Jesus or see a
Mhm.
white light or
Absolutely.
see, I don't know, like a field of flowers, whatever,
Mhm.
a rainbow
But
bridge with your dog.
what I
I don't
don't
know.
understand is I believe in God, but to believe in Him, I have to believe that all things are possible, because
Right.
that's
Yeah.
pretty implausible. I mean, let's be real, that the whole, you know, God, Jesus, everything is very, just implausible. But I believe it. So why can't I also believe that there are other things that are possible and that they don't have to be evil? I think that there are people that could use things for evil,
I think
but
it's
we see
the
that with
intent. I think
religion.
we believe in the same universal concept,
Mhm.
but because of how people group together and obviously socio-political
Mhm.
impacts of human centralization in history, like the intention that people use things for harm, it's not
Yeah.
the thing itself, it's how
Yeah.
it was used. And I just
Yeah.
feel very strongly that it's more natural to lean toward the idea of seeing a ghost. I mean, if you
Mhm.
marry the same person for 60 years and then they pass away, and you say people will say
Yeah.
this, they'll be like, my family member passed away in 9/11, and I know I saw the death certificate, but I also saw a ghost changing my light bulb that looked like
Mhm.
my husband.
Yeah.
Both things I think can be totally true,
I
but
do
I think
too.
it's that strength of your belief and love that you have for people that keeps them central to you, and that can be beliefs too, whether you call it God or the universe
Mhm.
or
Well, anybody can use things for good or for evil, and I don't think that, and I'm saying use things, like abilities, like, say, tarot cards or, oracle cards or any of that. But religion is also used for bad at times too.
oh yeah,
Look at
the
cults. I
crusade.
mean,
Look at
yeah, the
the
crusades. I mean,
crusades. Like history shows that given the chance, and this is what I believe is given the chance, people would choose good.
yeah.
Given
Yeah, but given an
power,
opportunity.
given unchecked power,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
intention turns bad
Yeah.
and causes harm.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you could say, like, too, like, I believe in not, I don't pray for people if they don't ask for my prayers.
Mhm.
Or I'll say, is it
Yeah.
okay if I send you healing vibes? Is it okay if I say a spell to help you feel better? I always ask for consent
Yeah.
because I feel like I believe that whatever you put out works. I
Yeah.
had a complication in my cancer surgery on my thyroid.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, I mean, I had people in my mom's church praying for me, people at my old church, my boyfriend's Buddhist people from his
Yeah.
Buddhist temple prayed for me literally during the hour I was under, or
Yeah.
however long it was, longer than that.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but I believe that all that good intention is why I'm here.
mhm.
There was some kind of complication. that increased the amount. Like my dad, I guess, freaked out at one point because they told him it was going to take a certain. I am going to do that, Marilee. Yeah, it's on my list.
I was just putting that up there.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Also, because I'm allergic to limes and scallops, and you
Oh,
would
yeah.
lime juice is in a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think lime
Yeah,
juice is in,
absolutely.
but anyway, like, it's why I say, like, if you have a good intention and you say that your belief is in Jesus, and you show through your action that you're trying to help heal people, or that your donations to charity are genuine and not just so you could brag about donating to
Yeah,
charity, then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we can believe two different things and still be
absolutely.
friends. And just
Absolutely.
don't try to convert me. I won't try to convert you. Like, don't look down on me for what I believe, because I've clearly been through just
Yeah,
as big a spiritual uh
absolutely.
like experience that's led me to where I am. And I think that is right. Knowing the backstory to why people believe what they believe
Mhm.
gives you the
Yeah,
ability to open your mind that you could believe something different. Or like with Ben, he said he got all into this stuff because he was, well, A, he was curious, but B, I think part of it is like maybe he had an experience personal to
mhm.
him that made him curious.
Yeah,
And then he was
yeah.
like, oh, I could talk to people about it because they've
Yeah,
also had some, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So Darcy's says that, when my mom passed, I lost time. Yeah,
Uh,
I get it. I really do.
I
And
did too. I do not remember my birth mom's funeral.
wow.
I remember driving up uh like a month and a half before she died, visiting her, going home, getting the call, going and clearing out her apartment, going to the funeral, but I don't remember, like, my
Yeah.
eulogy. I don't remember, like,
Mhm.
the after reception. Like, I
Yeah.
literally just don't, like, there's, like, a huge
Yeah.
block of about, like, 6 hours that I don't remember anything,
That's
that I, like,
so strange.
left my body. Because it was such a big, because for me, my birth mom was, my okay, so the mom who adopted me is the biological sister of my birth mom.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I knew she was in my life. The stipulations of my adoption, A, it was an open adoption, so she could still be in contact with me. So she
Mhm.
was, and she paid child support and all that stuff. But I always knew our connection was a lot deeper than aunt to niece.
Mhm.
Like, I
Wow.
always wanted to call her mom when I was younger, but I always felt like
Yeah.
maybe that wouldn't be it it was supported, but in my mind, knowing I was adopted, I was like, I don't wanna offend
Yeah.
my mom who raised me by
Mhm.
calling my birth mom, mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very confusing, but yeah, I get that. It's like when you have that deep emotional, um, connection with people that you love, it can be very difficult for them not to be there physically anymore. But I do believe they're there spiritually,
Mhm.
or that they come to you and they show you in little ways that they're around in the universe
Mhm.
watching over you.
So Jan in the back office is saying, I've lost time, but it wasn't an NDE. I was driving home from my mother's and crying hysterically. Next thing I know, I'm pulling into my garage. I lost 2 hours. Yeah, I get that too. I think that when we are in
Oof,
a hyper
man, yeah.
emotional sense, that
Loss,
absolutely.
I think, opens up, like, I remember when my birth mom died, I felt okay, so when my birth father died, I was angry and sad because I was just turning 18 and getting to know him.
Mhm.
But when my birth mom died, I, like, lost a job. I felt like this impossible like, void in my body.
Yeah,
Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe.
yeah.
And I feel like that level of being confronted with loss at that level makes it really difficult,
Mhm.
really difficult for us and we lose that time because we're like,
Yeah.
anytime we touch that fear or that deep level of pain,
Mhm.
it like opens the gates, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you just miss them and then you're like, "Oh, I miss them. I wish this, I wish that." Like
Yeah.
it just spirals.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben says, I know some cases of NDE, like things have happened to people under anesthesia as well. It's not an NDE, but some recall things they shouldn't be able to because they were out. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. That's scary to me. I remember I had surgery one time, and when I woke up, I told the doctor, I said, "You better be done." Not even thinking about the fact that if he wasn't done, I would probably not even be able to speak, but I did. I was just like, "You better be done." Oh,
Mm. Well, I for one am glad you survived your anaphylactic shock.
yeah, that was awful. 'Cause I have no memory when I had cerebral hypoxia, but apparently I was hitting on nurses and demanding a shot in the rear. I wish I could have been there and seen that. I'm terribly sorry that it happened, but at the same time, just to have something to gouge at Ben about would be so fun. Uh, oh, and cracking really bad jokes.
I got really sassy when I woke up from my cancer surgery, like, when they were wheeling me well, first of all, I woke up early while they were wheeling me to recovery, and I was like, "I have to pee because they put the IV, like, way too high, but
Mhm.
then I remember the surgeon came to check in on me right before she, like, went to her next surgery. She's like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "You just cut me open." And she's like, "Alright, you're sassy enough. See you tomorrow morning."
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I had a colonoscopy a few years ago, and when I went back for my, a check a couple of days later, I kept asking the nurse, I said, "Was he playing music? Was he playing music in the, you know, during the procedure?" And she's like, "Nope." She acted really weird about it. I kept saying, "I swear I heard music. I know I heard music in there when it was going on." And it was this song, and like I don't even know the song, but I remember hearing it on the way over, and then I like looked at her and I said, "Was I singing?" And she's like, "Yes, you were." And the problem being
That's
is I didn't
wild.
know the song. So I just apparently through the entire colonoscopy re-sang like 1 or 2 lines of this song just over and over. I was so mortified. I just oh, but yeah, anesthesia does things to you. Says, "Yeah, I know I had an effect on the doctor Rudy Hoyt after someone he operated on recalling things he wasn't doing in the or that he was doing, sorry, in the operation." Oh, yeah. Wow, Darcy's that's cool. You heard God. That's why I believe. That would be so amazing. Um, I would love that. I really would. I always say I'm gonna have so many questions when I get there. My mom says he'll be like, I'm on a coffee break. And let somebody else check her in, 'cause I can't wait. I just want to hear God or, it's fascinating. Do you recall hearing things in your NDE, both ears or both? Mhm. Both ears or both? It, let's see here. The Interf has hundreds of instances. Sometimes I don't know what Ben's talking about. And I never know if it's like, autocorrect has messed him up or something, or if it's really that I can't, figure out what he's talking about. But yeah. But anyway, I am just completely amazed, and I would love to have you you stutter when you type? Very good, Ben. But, well, I think faster than I can type, and so sometimes it and I type fast, but it gets all messed up sometimes in the translation between the brain and the fingertips.
I have to say the weirdest thing about the NDE was being aware I was concussed,
Mhm.
but having to have, like, conversations while I was also re-entering my own body.
I bet they were almost annoying because 'cause you're kind of busy at that moment. Like, "I'm
Yeah,
trying to
they
pay
were like,
attention over
"Who's the
here."
president?" And I was like, "Is this important?" And the
Yeah.
EMTs were like, "Can you answer the" I was, like, arguing with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like I was like, "Is it, like, important?" Like, the answer is Obama, but, like, what happened is, like, in my brain, the answer would fire off, but it would move
Mhm.
to my mouth like it was going through molasses.
Mhm.
And so I was aware I was answering slower than I was thinking, and it was really weird.
Mhm.
But I
Wow.
get what you mean by, like, your brain
Yeah.
going faster than your hands or your mouth when you're talking. It's like sometimes I have
Yeah.
to slow down when
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'll just be like, "Woo."
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Gosh.
It is 8:22. Do you need
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off of here and feed
go
my
eat, drink
husband.
some water, say
Yeah.
hi to Mr. Susie?
Yeah, but I do wanna say I would love to have you back on for a couple of other conversations in the near
Sure.
future. So I definitely wanna get with you on that. And, I am gonna have more people on with this whole subject, and I would love for you to even come on then as like a co-host type situation so you can kinda because you kinda, can help me kind of feel my way through this with things that I might not understand and
Oh,
you might know
sure,
the
yeah,
questions
for
the answers.
sure. Like, if you let me know ahead of time, like, who
Yeah,
you're thinking or kind of, like,
yeah,
get bullet points they wanna talk about, maybe I can look up info on it and, like, we
yeah,
can add
absolutely.
in some more stuff.
Sure. I will
Yeah, but
definitely
for
be
sure.
getting with you, so you're gonna be sick of hearing from me, I'm sure.
Not at all.
But anyway, I'm gonna go now. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop you back while I say goodbye to the
Bye,
chat, and
everybody.
then
Thanks
you
for
can just go
coming.
ahead and leave the back room. I don't usually come back there after I'm done, so just, you could just go ahead and exit
Sounds
out of
good.
there. So, okay. So guys, I really enjoyed that and I really do want to have some more conversations. So if any of you out there have had near death experiences or know somebody, I'd love to talk about it. And I am also very interested in the whole relationship between religion and spirituality because I do think the two can commingle. I think that, there's got to be some rules, some things set up, whatever. But yeah, I think that it's interesting, and I wonder about that and how I don't know. I truly believe in infinite possibilities. I just see the world as a big old possibility. And so, but I am like jealous of Darcy's because the fact that you heard God, I'm jealous in a good way. I wouldn't take it away from you for anything, but I am a little jealous. So I'm gonna go, you guys. I love you, and I will see you all tomorrow. So have a great rest of your night or day, whatever time it is there.
Hope you enjoyed the show. So glad you were here. We meet here most days. We're but first coffee, and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee, and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So